The NFL playoffs are about to begin, and yeah, the Bengals aren't in this year's bracket, but I do think that there is a team still alive that a lot of Bengals fans can rally behind for a very practical reason, and in this video, I'll explain exactly where your hope should reside. Hi again, Bengals fans. John Sheeran of A2Z Sports Cincinnati here, and this is something that I don't know a lot about you guys, but when the Bengals can't win the Super Bowl, who do you normally want to win? And the obvious answer might just be you don't care. If the Bengals can't win the Super Bowl, then it really doesn't matter who ends up hoisting the Lombardi. It's all for nothing. Of course, there may be some preferences as to who you wouldn't want to win, like the Steelers or Ravens. I feel like that goes without saying. You don't want an AFC North rival to win the Super Bowl when the Bengals can't. I think when it comes to like the Chiefs, there are two ways that you can look at this. I know that some people only want Patrick Mahomes to win Super Bowls if it's not Joe Burrow, so that no other quarterback who rivals him can have that rings argument over him. And obviously, if you're like most Bengals fans and you absolutely despise the Chiefs, you obviously wouldn't want them to win and have their dynasty continue. But I think when it comes to this year, though, and this has nothing really to do with the teams in the bracket, but it just comes down to the timing and what's happened over the past week and a half. If I'm looking at this from a Bengals perspective, I'm trying to figure out where can I garner hope for the future? Is there a team that can still win the Super Bowl and provide hope as a Bengals fan? Like, yeah, we can end up in that spot too. And that, my friends, is where I land on circling the wagons with the Buffalo Bills. Now, to clarify, this has nothing to do with any personal emotions or how you may feel about the Bills or how I feel about the Bills. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, I think, between the two franchises. Neither team has won a Super Bowl. There's been a lot of despair for decades, specifically within the last 30 years, that have only now kind of gone the other way. And yeah, Josh Allen is objectively an enjoyable experience to watch at the quarterback. But again, that's not really what I'm focusing on here. It's when I look at the Bills, and this has a lot to do with Josh Allen, they've kept the same quarterback and head coach pairing for going on 7 years now. This is year 7 between Josh Allen and head coach Sean McDermott, and they've yet to kick down that door and hoist a Lombardi for themselves. And throughout those 7 years, the Bills have fought their way into becoming a perennial playoff contender, to being on the doorstep of going to a Super Bowl, to then looking like their window had closed with a lot of players leaving. And throughout all of that, they've kept the same quarterback and head coach combo for beyond 5 years, despite not winning a Super Bowl, which if you look at NFL history, that is a big no-no. I think I said it on this channel months ago, like all the way back in September, but there's never been a quarterback head coach tandem that has won their first Super Bowl together outside of the first 5 years of their partnership in the history of the NFL. The Bills know for a cold, hard fact that Josh Allen is their quarterback. There is no one else that they would rather have leading that team. But they didn't have to stick by McDermott throughout all of that. There was a time where it felt like things got a little bit stale and maybe a change in leadership would have been warranted. Instead, they chose to believe in his culture. They kind of reset the team a little bit, and here they are as the second best team in the AFC. Everything that I just said in the last minute can easily be applied to the Cincinnati Bengals, who know for a fact that they would rather have no one else than Joe Burrow leading the team. The fact that they kept the same quarterback and head coach combo, now going on 6 years by keeping Zach Taylor after this year. A lot of quality players have left the Bengals, and a couple more could be following them out the door here soon. And a lot of people think that that means that the Super Bowl window has closed. And that 5-year window that I mentioned, it's as true as anything in the universe. If the Bills can break down that door, maybe the Bengals can too. And yes, there are definite differences between the Bills and the Bengals. The Bills operate much differently as a franchise. There's differences in coaching. There's differences in how their rosters are built. All of that is very much true, but I think the basics remain the same, and that's what can give Bengals fans some hope. Also, the only other team that can break this precedent is the Ravens, since Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh have been together now for 7 years, but yeah, no one's going to root for the Ravens here in Cincinnati. So whether you have a definite rooting interest or you just kind of want Bane to walk out of the tunnel and blow up every single stadium, I completely understand. This is the playoffs and the Bengals aren't here. But I do think hope persists, and that's all that matters.